What is up, skate rad? So I don't really skate the bank to ledge much. So we're about to actually start tearing it out, which sucks because it was built and it looks so good and it looks so nice, especially with the lights, but I just really don't use it. And I want to replace it with something that I'm going to be using a lot more consistently. But before we do that, I have always wanted to do crook pop out on this. I've stuck one or two of them and rode directly into the wall because you really need to like rotate out of it and try to avoid the back smith. So I have about 30 minutes to get that done because by the end of tonight, I need to get one other thing done so I can go buy materials. But we're going to talk about that once we skate a little bit. Is I need to pull the face of this off so I can start drawing out the sides for a mini vert wall. So it's going to come up about 5 feet. What I'm hoping for is 3 feet of transition on a 6-foot radius with 2 feet of vert. And it's just kind of meant to be playful, a little bit fun, maybe a little dangerous, but mostly allow you to get speed to skate the mini on the other side. Because as of right now, if you want to skate the mini off of this bank like I do, you need to get a push somewhere between here and there. And that makes skating fakie and switch really difficult. Now, of course, when you guys see the clips, all you see is really the trick. You don't see me doing switch mango halfway across the floor and then trying to twist and set my feet up. So it doesn't really work out too well. So I want to replace this with a mini vert wall. And that's the big reason. The other thing I'd love to achieve is hopefully a little bit more floor space, because once we're done with this project, we are immediately rebuilding the ledge. And if possible, I'd like to make it a little bit longer, but that only happens if I get like an additional foot of floor space, then maybe I'll make a 7-foot ledge. That is something we'll talk about in the future though, because we have a total budget of $450 and we kind of need to stick to that budget, you know? So we're gonna reuse as much material from this as possible, like the angle iron from up here is gonna go on the new ledge and stuff like that. And you know, whatever's left over, that's what I have to build the ledge. But we are going to tear this off because I need to get the shape drawn out for the quarter pipe. And once that shape is drawn out, then I'll know how much more floor space I will have. And that allows me then, obviously, to go purchase materials tomorrow. Last night I ended up deleting the footage of me talking. Pretty much I rambled for way too long and didn't make a ton of sense. I was just tired and it didn't really work out. But long story short, I ended up redrawing the transition a few different times, and I ended up going with a 5-foot radius instead of a 6-foot radius and a 44-inch tall ramp, which gets very close to vert, but it's not quite vert. But it gives me about 6 inches more of floor space, and it's just gonna work out better if I do this. And in the future, I can add an extension if I really wanted to, but I don't have to. But official count of the budget is $457, and so much of this is ones. Hey, I don't judge what you do in your spare time, so don't judge.
Who at the manufacturer thought this was a good idea?
I like to live dangerously.
It's after 10. Last item, finally. But if you buy your screws at Walmart, it's the exact same brand, and it's like $4 cheaper than Lowe's or Home Depot. I'm leaving Walmart now. We're going to go over the totals quick, though, between 3 stores. So at Lowe's, I spent $161, which is actually less than I expected. In Walmart, I spent $43. Receipts are right here. Dollar Tree, I didn't get a receipt, but that was 10 even, like in a couple of pennies. And that covers my paintbrushes, my stuff to paint the thing, all the materials that I can think of, which should cover everything, to build the actual quarter pipe. Now, in truth, if you guys were looking to build your own quarter pipe, you'd have to add about $100 to it, because 1, I'm not putting coping on it. 2, you know, mine's more of a unique design, plus I have like half of the materials. But really quick, I want to show off something. So I'm always frugal. If I can reuse something, if I can get something on clearance, you know, I'm the guy who drives the $2,000 big van. So Halloween pajamas are on clearance. And I'm gonna go home and dress my daughter up. It is now day 3. We have all the materials we need. Today, I need to cut out these side pieces. I need to completely disassemble this. And by the end of the day, what I'm looking to accomplish is I want all the framework done for the new ramp, and I want the small section of floor put in, so that on Saturday, I can sheet all of it, and then hopefully on Sunday, I can get started on that painting. Because the painting takes so much longer than the building, but if I wanted to have like the nice cobblestone blackish look, painting's kind of important. It just takes a little while. So I'm gonna drag this outside and cut it just so it's out of my way. I'm gonna have to unload the van to cut the other 2, but then we're gonna appear back in here to hyperlapse. And the cool thing about hyperlapsing on phones is I can then speed it up even faster in my editing software, and we can go to ludicrous speed. Okay, now we can actually see like the size of this. You can see that it comes up just around my rib cage. So it's gonna be big, it's gonna be tight, it's gonna be weird to skate, but it's gonna be fun to figure out. Let's get this framing done now. The last thing I need to get done today is I need to extend the floor at that last little bit. So I'll be ready for sheeting. But look at it, it looks kind of absurd. You really can't see the Mini on the other side, but at the end of this, I'll definitely show like a comparison of me standing next to each one, because this looks kind of crazy. So I had these 2 little pieces laying around, which will work. It's just so things don't kind of like warp. They don't have to come all the way up to the quarter pipe. And looking at this, this is where the first sheet would kind of fall. It looks like I might lose like a 1/4 inch, but I mean, now, if I lose a little bit of space, it's not the end of the world, because the bottom of a quarter pipe is pretty much flat. So it will kind of be like I'm not losing anything, as long as the transition's good, which it should be. Now, all the ramps I've built have been smaller ramps, and usually if my measurements are just like a hair off or anything, it's not that big of a deal. But since this ramp is bigger, I actually do need to go pick up 2 more sheets, 1 more sheet of 3/8 and 1 more sheet of 1/4 inch, and then that'll be all the sheets I need, which really does suck. But I've never built on a 5-foot radius before, and that was the issue I kind of like had, which is normally you take the radius, you know, whatever size it is, and then add about 6 inches and you're covered. But on this, it's closer to like 10 inches. And this just happens, you know. No one's to blame but me. I never built on a 5-foot radius. I didn't expect to build on a 5-foot radius. And now I know that for the future. So I'm going to go pick up those last 2 sheets, and then my day is done. Now I'm probably going to take tomorrow off. So day 4 for this video will actually be day 5 for me. But I'll see you in day 4. Day 4. So we are back at it again. Before the framing is completely finished up and I can start sheeting, there are 2 things I need to do, which is add a couple more 2x4s, because I have to do the sheets in 2 pieces. Then I don't want to be trying to split it between 1.5 inches. I'd rather just have 2. So I need to cut those and screw those in. And then there's a top piece that's going to go on. So even though this won't have any coping, I don't want to have boards fly up and hit the light or hit the fan, the ceiling, stuff like that. So I'm going to actually be building like a board bumper to hopefully kick the board back out this way. Now, never tried it, never done it, but I have an idea on how I'm going to do it. And hopefully, honestly, I never need to use it, but my hope is it works. And I have a specific thing I purchased so that nobody gets confused if it's coping or not. So in the video, you see me smack myself in the head with this foam. This is practically a pool noodle. It's for pipe insulation. Honestly, a pool noodle would have been a little bit cheaper and better to use, but it's November, so that's not happening. But here's the idea, to keep like a board bumper, but to keep it from looking like coping, because at a first glance you might mistake this for coping. I bought something. So I'm going to put it on, and we're going to get these attached and move on to sheeting. So I wrapped it in caution tape. Now this could always be temporary. The idea is just, obviously, like I said, things don't bounce up. I don't really see a reason to spend the $100 additionally on coping, but who knows, maybe in the future I will. Not sure yet. I also got the second ones here, so I'm finally ready to start cutting sheets. 1 done. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8 sheets, 9 and 10. So I went through pretty much all the sheets when I was at Lowe's with the amount of time I had, and none of them had like a smooth surface. So I usually never use masonite on ramps, but this is indoors and I'm going to paint it. So it's not that big a deal. And it really shouldn't have any issues with moisture. Like my floor, like right now I have wet shoes and I'm standing on the floor. I have seen no signs of any damage and it's been down for 6 months. Plus, this becomes replaceable then. But I don't know, it came out looking pretty nice. Of course, with building, there is always a mess to clean up, which is never fun. And especially since I'm immediately after this jumping into building a ledge, which really shouldn't take more than a day to build it. And then I'm probably just gonna paint it one color, unlike this. So honestly, that really shouldn't be that bad. But I want to say this video should come out November 22nd. The next Saturday is normally when my video would come out, so November 29th would be the next one to come out. But that day we'll have no video, and I'm going to be posting in short forms or on Instagram more about this as it comes closer. But December 1st, my video part finally comes out. So if you guys have been hyped to see it, which I hope you are, December 1st at 11 a.m. is when it goes live. And like I said, I'm going to be advertising and pushing it with videos and different stuff like that. A handful of people have already seen it and they're stoked on it, so I'm stoked on it. Maybe you guys will like it, maybe you won't. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. But I don't know, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and as always, thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a great day and keep pushing forward, guys.